what's up? West Shrimp Po' Boy coming at you, and today we're going to talk about the fundamental reasons why Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts sucked 16 years ago, pissed off a lot of fans, and why it still sucks AIDS ass today. Not just ass, AIDS ass! Banjo 3 was promised to the heavens since the ending of Banjo Tooie and onward. With all the early Banjo 3 ads and such, and the ads that came before Nuts and Bolts was announced, adding to the hype, expanding it, and hyping it harder, rising the expectations all the more. But that promise was never delivered, which shot the expectations straight to hell, and then you got Nuts and Bolts, which left many mouths with a bitter, poisonous taste in them. Are you surprised? Again, the analogy JonTron made with the Mario City Simulator and Legend of Zelda Modern Warfare punchline components in the analogy was not only ingeniously comedic, but is still accurate today. They put the Banjo-Kazooie IP and all the fixings into a game that was about build-a-car racing. The build-a-car racing idea was actually innovative, but just a wee bit ahead of its time. It would have been even more ahead of its time if they actually just worked on a little and not made it super fucking janky. See? So all in all, it was horridly executed. The game was half-assed on all accounts except one. Or okay, maybe two. Two accounts. Just two. I mean, the lack of things to do, the absolutely gigantic empty spaces, the occasional spots of half-assing of the platforming. Oh, excuse me. Even though all of the mechanics for the platforming for Banjo 3 were all there, still in tip-top condition, and so much more that could be complained about. But JonTron did a lot of those for us already. You can call it biased towards John Jafari if you want to. Not that I give a shit. Still accurate. All in all, JonTron's critiques about the game mechanistically and whatnot are still just as valid today as they were when he made his gloriously made rant. Now, if you're going to try to even attempt to accuse me of sucking John Jafari off, one, I'm pretty sure he's married. Two, I ain't gay, so go fuck yourselves on that. If it's anyone's dick that's going to get sucked, I'm going to get that surgery to help me bend forward enough to suck my own. So, let's continue on. I did 4 middle fingers for a reason. 2 times 2. If you can't do math, what the fuck's wrong with you? That's basic. When Ant Dude said, just look at this as a big playground. Blow me. Why did I say that? Blow me. Well, I'll tell you why. It was just plain reaching, if I ever saw it. Reaching, copium, you could argue both, and it would be just as valid. simply fucking pathetic. The so-called humor was the opposite of humor, and it included straight-up insolence towards multiple gamer demographics of that era when it was released. So blatant, Ronnie Millsap and Terry Gibbs could see it, and they're both still alive. And that's even though I love Ray Charles music, I was a big Ray Charles fan growing up. That joke's been necrophiled. Necrobestiality has been committed with that. That's why I won't use that punchline. Every time someone does it, that's how much worse they're doing than just beating the dead horse. When you rub a cock or a clit on a rotted bone, you got problems. Six. The biggest example of number 5 is going into 6, and I'm going to explain this for those who don't know, or maybe have forgotten. And I just tragically brought you back to those gamer nom flashbacks. The LOG character was a majority of the damn source of insolence towards the said demographics of gamers, falsely labeled as humor. And just a horridly placed MacGuffin feature deliberately designed to denounce the collectathon genre as a whole in a borderline psyopy manner to make new would-be fans never curious about the foundations and legacy that series is built upon. You know, the line, you know, the sentence, in line with Banjo-Kazooie tradition. I'm going to read off the script when I say this. In line with the Banjo-Kazooie tradition, your challenge will consist of collecting as many pointless things as possible. When that was said at the start of the game, that proves my argument there for me already. It was not funny. None of that scene was. If anything, it was depressing to watch. It was an insult to the collectathon fans. It was an insult to the platformer fans. It was insulting to the fucking 3D adventure fans. And lastly, it was a blatant insult to Banjo-Kazooie fans like myself. The humor did not exist. The delivery, son of a bitch, was intentionally in bad taste, which is a stark contrast to the game that was released 4 years prior to its release, Postal 2. At least Postal 2 was comical in being intentionally the bastion of bad taste. In some aspects, quite this phrase, South Park dialed up to 11, actually would be accurate. 7. It only had 6 damn levels. The whole game had 6 levels. This was like 3 years into the expanded disk drive technology that they could have gotten licensing to use for their Xbox 360 discs, and could have stretched the game further and put more worlds or levels into it. At the time, they could have done this. The shit was out there. Come on. Come on. I already mentioned the jankiness. I don't need to use that as a additional reason number 8. Or reason number 8, should I say. I don't need to do that. The fact that I mentioned it was super janky, and many reviewers have said this about the gaming mechanics involving the vehicles, whether flying or on wheels. So, but yeah, 6 worlds. We had far less cartridge capacity, storage and data capacity in the Nintendo 64 cartridges. And we had 10 motherfucking worlds. A hub, actually 11. You had Spiral, well, you had Spiral Mountain, and you had the Gruntilda's Lair Central Hub, and then the 9 worlds that it held. And then you had a similar formula with Banjo-Kazooie, with Banjo-Tooie. What the fuck? This is... Anyways, that's it for the rant. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Toodles.